my darlings, this is Mrs. Welch coming to you for the Cavendish Fletcher Community Library, and I really am back in the library, and my mask is off today. So I want to talk to you about some things we have coming up for grown-ups, some things we have coming up for kids, and my opinion on a couple of books and movies that you might or may not find interesting. So the first thing I want to say is that our book club is back. Woo-hoo! I don't know about you, but I've missed talking about books with grown-ups. And the book we're going to read first is called Before the Coffee Gets Cold. It's by Toshikazu Kagaguchi. And this is a really weird book. It's a short book, which is nice, but it's a weird book. Imagine that you could travel back in time. But there are some pretty big rules around it. Would you do it? You can travel back in time from this one spot in this one cafe. You can only use the spot when the ghost who's sitting in it, there is a ghost, is out of it going to the bathroom. You can only go back to that place, the cafe, and you can only talk to people who have been there. And get this, you can't change the future. So, would you go back? And this book has 3 characters in it, well, 4 kind of actually, who do go back. And it's really interesting. So I asked myself, Kata, would you go back? And my logical self says, I've never been to Japan, but would you go back? And my answer is yes, because there's one thing that the characters get in this, and it is clarity. And so to me, it would be really interesting, and yeah, I would go back and talk to my dad. So we're discussing this July 14th. We have copies of it here at the library. Please come by and get it. And I can't wait to hear if you'd go back or who you'd want to talk to. So I want to talk about 3 of our newer books that I've read. One of the perks of my gig here is I tend to get my hands on new books pretty soon after they come out. And this one is called What Happened to You? Conversations on Trauma, Resilience, and Healing by Bruce Perry and Oprah Winfrey. What this is about is it's kind of reframing thoughts around people. Such as, instead of saying, my God, what's wrong with you, when somebody's acting in a strange way, or a way you feel strange, a way that may make you uncomfortable, to go back and say, what happened to you to have you act this way? And it really talks about how trauma at different parts of your development affect how you act. It's very readable. You learn some details about Oprah, which is always kind of interesting. I liked this book. So it's worth a read. Another book I have is the new Pam Jenoff. Pam Jenoff writes historical work, and she usually does things that take place around World War II. This is nothing different from that. So there's a Jewish girl and some family members who are hiding in a sewer, and a Gentile girl who sees from up above, and their relationship. It's an okay book. I kind of feel like the World War II history fiction is kind of being a little overdone right now. I think it might be peaking, but it's an okay read. Good way to pass the day. The last adult book that I want to talk to you about is the new Nora Roberts. Now, usually Nora Roberts, I hop up and down, I clap my hands, I fangirl because I love her stuff. I said usually. This one is okay. It's not her best. So there's this girl named Adrian whose father comes to find her, come to find out her father's nuts. And he comes to find her and her mother ends up killing him to protect her. Her mother is an exercise guru. Adrian grows up. She becomes one as well, and she starts to get stalked. Now, I had a pretty good guess about who was stalking her about halfway through the book. And of course, there's a love story. Of course, there are dogs, which never breaks my heart. It's a entertaining read, though I think Shelter in Place is much better. So there are a lot of movies coming out on DVD right now. Most of the big studios have been holding their inventory because they want to do the splash in the theaters. And I think we're going to see a lot of the backlog coming out pretty soon. But this one came out, Wonder Woman 1984. I was so excited that I actually bought HBO Max so that I could watch it on Christmas Day. I could not wait. I should have saved my money. There's too much in this movie. There's two villains where one would do. They kind of force a way to bring Steve Trevor back to life, which I didn't think was all that necessary. I think I would rather have seen Diana move on. It has some interesting effects. The filmography is nice. There's a scene on Paradise Island or Themyscira, which is really kind of cool. But I felt like they were pandering to the men in the audience. Oh, we have to have a male villain. We'll make Maxwell Lord. Well, Maxwell Lord in this is kind of inept and not nearly as deliciously evil as he is in the comic book source material. Cheetah in here is very good. Kristen Rigg does a good job. I really don't get the point of bringing Steve Trevor back unless it was simply more people will go see the movie. And, one would think after spending a week with somebody 100 years ago, you would have gotten over him. I mean, a week, and she pines for him 100 years later. Actually 70 years, but still, 70 years is a long time. So we have it here at the library. Come and enjoy it. By the time you come in and see this, we'll have more movies, more TV shows. Can't wait to see you.